Konami Studios.
So, Crossing Swords. Here's a show I had no idea was coming out for a long time, and then when I watched it, I was like, yep, it's good. It's surprisingly entertaining. So I remember I'm watching the trailer a little while back, and I thought, this is kind of silly. It's very Robot Chicken, because I think the guy worked on Robot Chicken that does this. And I'm just thinking, it's cute. It's very cute. It's very adult situated. And then I was kind of interested in seeing what it was like, because I think the style is very interesting. It's very Fisher-Pricey and those like Little Tikes toys, which I think is kind of cool. So I was like, maybe this will be entertaining. Maybe this is a great way to see a new format that could work. Interesting type of stop motion animation. So I'd like to see how it turns out. You guys, I loved every second of this show. Honestly, I was like, this is everything I need, and it's like a lighthearted binge that's fun to watch and entertaining. It's what I wanted Disenchantment to be for Matt Groening. It's that kind of situation. It's the medieval times. Everything's kind of played up. You got your king, your queen, your princess. Everyone's a little kind of silly, and there's kind of weird stuff going on. But it's mature and engaging, and everything about it's just really fun, and it's really entertaining. So I was like blown away by how much I liked it. It's 10 episodes. They fly by really fast. It's a great, easy binge. They're all on Hulu. It's definitely worth checking out. The basic premise is there's this guy named Patrick. He's kind of the disappointment of his family. You know, his brother and sister are very successful. They're like a clown, a Robin Hood stereotype, a pirate queen, and they're just these people who are very good in their profession for the most part, but he's always wanted to be a knight, and he's never really figured out how he can be good at it because he gets scared and he's not very inept in that way. But he decides he's going to take a chance. He becomes a squire for the king, and it's very interesting to see the way that plays out in there too. What I really like to seeing all of these characters have their own unique personalities that they mesh really well. You know, Patrick as the lead, just the way he's like, I don't like the way this situation's working out. What are we doing here? And he's just kind of like the moral compass for the entire show. And one of my favorite things about it too with Patrick's character is he questions the way things are done. And I think that's very interesting, especially in this time period, in the medieval times. He looks at the way, I think public execution is wrong. Execution in general is wrong. You know, why are we hoarding all this money for the king when we should be distributing it across the equal wealth and kind of stuff? And that stuff I think is very interesting. And he's a really great lead, and I was surprised to see it's Nicholas Hoult. I was not expecting it to be Nicholas Hoult because I had no idea he was working on this till I kind of like looked up the cast, because I was just like, episode's over, screw the credits, I'm looking at the next one. And that's how I flew by with this, and I just looked at the next one. But I looked it up, it's like, wow, Nicholas Hoult? Patrick? That's amazing, and it's really cool. And once I learned that it was Nicholas Hoult, I could not get it out of my head that it was him. I think that's really cool. And the cast in here, it's really good too. You got Luke Evans is the king. King Merriment, I think is his name. I can't really, it's something like that. Wow, very different than what you'd expect him to do. That's very cool. And you got Tony Hale, Tara Strong. They're great. They're doing great. Everyone's doing great. I love it a lot. Seth Green's playing some parts in here too. Everything about it's really nice. And every character, like I said, they're all very interesting and unique. You got Patrick's friend Broth, who's kind of a little more surfery. The king's a little inept and kind of dumb, but he's very like loud about it. And the queen's kind of just the dry, sarcastic wit. Everything's really great. Tony Hale as Patrick's brother Blarney, the clown. I think that's really funny stuff. Works really well for him and the person he is in that kind of show. And their dad is hilarious. I love that character. I think his name's Glenn. Everything about him is just great. The show is just really funny and really solid, and I laughed a lot. I was surprised I was laughing so much while I'm watching it, because every joke worked for the most part. The way things played out, I really liked. Just the way you see the fantasy world, I think that was really well too. You know, the Kraken, the fairies, the Cyclops, the Minotaur, even all these things, they worked really well in a very interesting story. And the way some things played out too, there's an actual kind of narrative that flowed through, which I kind of like from these kind of shows, because it could easily just be a bunch of stories kind of tied together. But I like the way it played out, with like an assassin maybe trying to take over the kingdom, and some heritage things, who belongs to who and who is the rightful, ruler of the kingdom. That stuff was really well. And I do like the format it was done into, with like the armless floating head kind of weird stuff. It looks really well. I don't know what you'd call that design, because it's not Robot Chickenish where it's like the straight up doll or action figure stop motion. It's a toy, a children's toy. I want to know how they built it. And let me say this too, before we continue on with my rant about how much I love this, there is no other, I think, property out there right now where I'm like, I want action figures or collectibles of everything in this line, because I think it'd be such a cool line to collect. You could have those like little mini figures done in that style, and you could just have them on your shelf and you could reenact stuff yourself. I think that's really fun, and I'd love to see those made. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but Guy, if you're listening, do that. That's a great idea. I think that'd be really cool. But no, this show is so fun. Every episode is just so entertaining and engaging in a way I wasn't expecting from this show. Like I said, I thought it was going to be a lot more adult-oriented, like sex jokes and drugs and partying and that kind of stuff. And there is some of that. And I think a lot of that's more in the beginning half. And then once we get further down the line, we get a lot of more of the actual moments and character stuff that I like. Yvette Nicole Brown's in this too. Her character is kind of like a sergeant general, which I think is really funny. There's a lot of great moments in here. I think the stuff with the Kraken is hilarious. The stuff in the Minotaur's Labyrinth is hilarious. There's just a lot of great moments. Like, one of my favorite scenes is you just see Patrick's siblings, Coral and Ruben, and they're arguing like which one of them deserves to be executed more. They're kind of like putting up posters like, vote for me to die, vote for me to die. That stuff is great. That's how you play with this format in a different way than I think a lot of people are expecting. This is well worth your watch. Like, there is some great moments in here, especially if you like the Robot Chicken stuff, because it's very Robot Chicken, but they're allowed to kind of do more. I don't know if that's because it's on Hulu or something. I feel like they got away with a little bit more, just in terms of nudity. Because there's a surprising amount of nudity in this, and I was like, okay, I'm good with that. Some nudity is always fun in these kind of shows, so I am well on board with that. So, Crossing Swords. It's a great show, very fun, entertaining, light, easy thing. It's very stop motion-y. If you like that stuff like I do, I think you'll enjoy it. So thank you guys so much for watching this review, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and of course you can check me out on Patreon, Instagram, Twitter for all the good stuff involving this channel and myself. So thank you guys for watching. Have fun, stay safe. Good luck.